Hello, everybody. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys are doing blessed. And I hope you guys are ready for the end times that we are in right now. And we are definitely in end times, and we're definitely where we need to be one with our Creator, where we need to be following His laws, statutes, and commands. And I wanted to bring this to everyone's attention because Mr. Joshua Aaron, I've been following him for many, many, many moons. He lives in Israel, and he's always sported a little Jew cap. I'm not even sure what they call that thing, but they've always sported the little Jew cap. And but he sings about salvation. He sings about our Messiah, Yeshua. And I guess he would be a messianic Jew, is what they would call somebody like him. But there's a problem with that, because when you carry along traditions of men, then you will be doing bad things. And so he posted this a while ago, and I've been into conversations with some of his people. But after this, I unsubscribed to Mr. Joshua Aaron. He goes, this is his son, Max, and he just put this out, and he goes, my boy Max learning traditions of our people today in Jerusalem. He turns 13, bar mitzvah, next month. Now, none of this stuff like bar mitzvahs, this little thing that you see running across his arm, I didn't actually know what the name of this was. And my wife's like, I told her, this is very evil. What he's doing is very evil. She's like, why? And I said, all of this stuff on his arm, that is all Talmudic. That is all out of Babylon. That is out of, the Kabbalah and all of the things that our Messiah fought against. And so if you want to look at a little bit of, from Chabad, right? Of all things, Chabad is like the Jew library, I guess. So here's the thing. Why do we wrap the Teflon straps 7 times around the arm? And right out of the gate, it goes, the Talmud makes no mention of how many times one should wrap the straps of Teflon around the arm. But the widespread custom is to do 7 times, in addition to the first wrapping them around the biceps and later the fingers. The ubiquity of this custom can be credited to the Kabbalists, specifically Rabbi Isaac Luria, also known as the Arazal, the Arazal man, 1534 to 1572. And then it goes, this dude, the Arazal, explains the wrapping of the Teflon around the arm 7 times corresponds to the verse of Esther that relates how Esther was given 7 maidens fitting to her from the king's house. So this is where we get into a lot of trouble trying to invent traditions and invent things of this nature. Many correlate the 7 maidens to 7 specific angels at the Zohar. Again, Babylonian Talmudism. This is the evil stuff right here, guys. This is why there are Zionist Jews in control of everything, is because of the Zohar and the Talmud. The way it is, it's extremely evil. Others explain it refers to the 7 chambers or Seraphot of the spiritual world. So I guess they have this in weddings, and they have it where it is subduing the evil inclination. The Talmud tells us that throughout Scripture, the Yetzer Hara, evil inclination, is referred to by 7 names. See, none of this is in the Torah. None of this is in the Bible. You would have to have this Jewish mysticism, this Babylonianism, this oral Torah to understand anything that these guys are even talking about in here. So when we go back to Joshua Aaron and him basically, being proud of, wrapping this thing around their hand. This is all evil stuff. Guys, the Talmud is not a good thing. The Talmud is something very evil. And so I've been talking to some of his people, and they're not very happy with me. So what I said here, I said, wow, this is evil. I'm going to have to unsub, right? And, traditions of men is what Yahushua fought against, and you are cursing your son by working Talmud evil. And this guy goes and he goes, evil, cursing his son. Have you not read Deuteronomy? So let's read the Shema. This is Deuteronomy 6, and then he only quotes 4 through 9. Hear, O Israel. It's hear and obey. Adonai our God. Adonai is one, and you are to love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your being, with all your resources. These words which I am ordering you today are in your heart, and you are to teach them carefully to your children. You are to talk about them when you sit at home, when you travel on the road, when you lie down, when you get up. Tie them on your hand as a sign. Put them, and this is where it is. Tie them on your hand as a sign. Put them at the front of the headband around your forehead, and write them on the door frames of your houses and of your gates. So when you bring in, if you choose to unsubscribe, simply do it. He's like, no need to announce it first. And I went off to explain to him. I said, none of this has to do with anything but a satanic Talmudic tefillin on your arms and carrying traditions of men. Here's the evil. And I sent him to the Shabbat. And then I say, our Creator says not to do this. All of this out of Babylon. All this came out of Babylon. Joshua has great music, but he is a Jew and doing what we are told not to. The Shema of Deuteronomy 6 means hear and obey. Never are we told in the Bible to put your kid in Babylonian garb. It doesn't matter your intent. Our Creator says not to do things like this. And so I want to check out Max again and check out this thing. And there's a it goes up to his head. There's a box that sits on his head, and they wrap this down there. And none of this comes out of the Torah, and it doesn't matter in Deuteronomy if it says to do this. It never said wrap this stuff around. These are customs and traditions of men. And then he also goes on to this, like back into this thing, and talks about the sages. And this is what they say. When we put on tefillin, we connect with God and draw down holiness and divine light into the world. Based on this, some explain that the 7 coils represent the 7 heavens, or the 7 branches of the menorah in the holy temple, which brought spiritual light. See, none of this is a Torah thing. It says, thou shalt not take a leather strap and tie it around your arm. If we had a command of this, he would say exactly what is to do. When we are to do the Shema, and we are to bind them up on our doorposts. We have things for this, right? When we get up in the morning, we talk about them as a family. That is what the command is to do. If we are to put, basically what they're saying here is tie them as a hand sign, put them as a frontlet headband around your forehead. We're supposed to remember them in everything we do. It doesn't say we're supposed to start wrapping this up for prayers and doing something like this. They've taken things out of context, which oftentimes the Christians do as well. When they say that all food has been made clean, and then they reference Mark, and that was our Messiah fighting these Pharisees and Sadducees as well, because they told these people, and they went to our Messiah and they said, hey, look, you're sitting down and you're eating without washing your hands. And he says it's not what goes in a man that defiles them, but what comes out of a man's mouth. And so the Christians and they say all food has been made clean, right? The translators, all food has been made clean. When that is not true, none of that, when there's tons of food laws that we have out there, but we're reading into this and we're taking stuff out of it. My friends, our time is too short. Our time is too short to be messing around with Babylonian Talmudic stuff. These people are not, the Jews of today are not in covenant with our Creator. They are not the people that the Bible describes as the people of our Father. The people of our Father, the people of our Creator, are keeping the laws, statutes, and commands of Him. And they're not taking in traditions, the Jeremiah traditions and various things. But these Jews of today are doing all of this. All of the stuff that comes out of the Talmud, that comes out of the Zohar, that comes out of any of the Kabbalah stuff of the Jewish times is evil. And so when you're dealing with a tefillin and you're teaching your kids that they should be doing this, or taking them to a bar mitzvah, there's no such thing as bar mitzvahs in the Bible. It doesn't say anything about ages. There's no age bound on anything. And so that's Jewish mysticism that is coming into this, and it is not what our Creator says. You know, our Creator, there's 2 ways for salvation. There's not 2 ways, but it's a 2-ingredient combo that makes this. It's keeping the laws, statutes, and commands of our Father, and nothing more, nothing outside of it, because that's not worshiping our Father. That's not worshiping Him how He wants us to worship Him. He doesn't want us to worship Him how we want to worship Him, or how people of traditions have worshiped Him. He wants us to worship Him how He ask us to, and is not with the traditions of men. Guys, I hope you are good. I did unsubscribe from Joshua Aaron. I'm done listening to his music. I mean, I suppose I let it go too long, you know, where he wears the Jewish skull cap and things of that nature. I thought he was just kind of like, you know, kind of blending in there, but when you teach your kids these evil things, this is not a thing of our Creator. Much love to y'all.